Hello everybody, welcome to Sunday's Thought for the Day. I'm recording this just before we have our Compline service for tonight at 6 o'clock. So message me quick if you would like the login and you haven't yet got it. So today we've been thinking about the John 1 passage today. Our set reading is John 1, 1 to 14. But I'm just going to focus on a little bit of it. So I'm going to read you John 1 verses 10 to 13. He was in the world, and the world came into being through him, yet the world did not know him. He came to what was his own, and his own people did not accept him. But to all who received him, who believed in his name, he gave power to become children of God, who were born not of blood, or of the will of the flesh, or the will of man, but of God. So this week, in preparation for this Sunday's Thought for the Day, I was thinking about the different themes in the whole of this passage, and in particular, we've talked quite a lot about light. So I went back to the whole children of God theme. Now, sometimes when I'm stuck about what to say, I might actually think to myself, oh, well, I'll look at some quotes and see if that will give me some inspiration. But the problem with the whole Children of God theme is that I feel I could speak forever on it. So I was looking for not wider inspiration, but kind of narrower honing in of what does it mean for us to be children of God. So I was looking for some quotes about this, and the first one is from Maya Angelou, the poet. I believed that there was a God because I was told it by my grandmother and later by other adults. But when I found that I knew not only that there was a God, but that I was a child of God, when I understood that, when I comprehended that, more than that, when I internalized that, ingested that, I became courageous. That is a very encouraging understanding of what it means to be a child of God. And then Max Lucado brings us this kind of challenging view. To call yourself a child of God is one thing. To be called a child of God by those who watch your life is quite another thing altogether. Then Charles Spurgeon, and this is from Charles Spurgeon's time, so it does not have inclusive language, which I would have appreciated. The child of God works not for life, but from life. He does not work to be saved, but works because he is saved. Another interesting take on Charles Spurgeon's view of being a child of God. And then Tim Tebow. I'm so thankful because of my relationship with Jesus Christ and being adopted in the family of God that I don't have to live the highs and lows and the roller coaster that the rest of the world lives, because I know where my identity lies. My identity lies as a child of God, and that's something that will never be shaken. And as I read that, I remembered some of the really helpful things which Justin Welby has said about identity and being a child of God and being our identity being within Christ. There are questions about potential for people here, and Russell Nelson says this: who are we? We are children of God. Our potential is unlimited. Our inheritance is sacred. May we always honour that heritage in every thought and deed. Now the next quote is from Martin Luther King Jr. And again, I have a kind of, I wish this was a bit more inclusive in my language. But when you think about the place from which Martin Luther King was coming, and the context into which he was speaking, it's still very powerful. Every man is somebody because he is a child of God. Every man is somebody because he is a child of God. And then when we think about aspirations for our own children and for our own lives and for where we are and whether we kind of achieve those aspirations or what that aspiration might mean to us, I found this again from Max Lucado quite helpful. Which would you prefer? To be king of the mountain for a day, or to be a child of God for eternity? Which would you prefer? To be the king of the mountain for a day, or to be a child of God for eternity? Boyd Packer says this: you are a child of God. He is Father of your spirit. Spiritually, you are of noble birth, the offspring of the King of Heaven. Fix that truth in your mind and hold it. However many generations in your mortal ancestry, no matter what race or people you represent, the pedigree of your spirit can be written on a single line. You are a child of God. And then the last quote for today is Timothy Keller. If you are a child of God, you don't lose your status if you have a bad week. If you're a child of God, you don't lose your status if you have a bad week. I said in the services this morning that I would really like some people to do some homework, and I have to admit that one person has handed their homework in, and I am very happy about that. So we've heard what lots of different people have said about what it means to them to be a child of God, and your homework, if you're prepared to take it on, is to write in 100 words or less what it means to you to be God's child. What does it mean for you to be God's child? Now, this has always been a kind of important theological thing for me, and I have often wondered when I would stop talking about this, and there's a risk if I sit down to write, I'll come out 100,000 words later and there'll be a book. But actually, that's a challenge for me as well as for you. If you had up to 100 words to write what it meant for you to be God's child, what would you write? Please feel free to submit your homework. I would love to see it. And I will spend a little bit of time this week focusing on that myself. And hopefully I'll come up with something. If I do, I'll put it in the comments below. See you all sometime soon, and there'll be a midweek thought for the day later on in the week, probably on Thursday. So hope you're all well, and I'll see you all soon. Bye.